Welcome back to Symmetricity. This one's a training video, training 1, how to photograph radon nuclides. The best time of day, the best weather conditions, what to aim the camera at, and what to look for. So I'm working on Lightroom 3. It's a pretty nice, it's made by Adobe. It's a pretty nice piece of software for looking at these chunky bubbles. Now what's really nice is it can batch files. That means that you can put hundreds or even thousands of pictures in it, and it will change them all the same color or enhance them all at the same time while you do other things too. So it's real handy, and it speeds things way up. And I'm not here, we're not showing you how all this runs and how I got all the pictures in. What I'm trying to accomplish here is to show you, after you take the pictures, an easy way to enhance them. Granted, for this you need to buy some software, but it's really handy. So in general, when I took this picture, it was dark outside. If you didn't use a flash, it'd be completely black. You wouldn't see anything. The object is to try and keep things out of the way, like the tree and the shed, and you're going to hit the ground if you're going to shoot a little bit low. And this is snow, and that's no help. You know, when there's leaves on the ground or grass, it works much better. You know, when you shoot a picture at an object, typically you shoot at about 8 to 10 feet away from the object so you can see it in the dark. Well, when you shoot this kind of photography, you need to try and not hit anything. So ideally you wouldn't want the tree or the shed. The tree's way in the back. They must be back there. They're probably 100, 110 feet away from the camera, so that would be a good thing to shoot at. Or just shoot it right up into the sky. You probably, and it works best on cloudy nights or a little drizzly, little bit of snow maybe. But the snow, you can see the flakes coming down. Sometimes it's hard to determine whether you're actually seeing a bubble or snow. But let's see, these were taken at 1 second intervals with a flash at a -5, an ISO of 6400. And in general, that's all you need. Those are the numbers. A -5 with a flash on top of the camera, so you have some extra battery power. And then 6400 is the ISO setting, and typically that works great. You can try other settings, and some of the other settings do work, but in general, I'm giving you an idea of what you'd need to go for. Now, I have a Canon S10 camera, and there's no settings on that. The only thing you really need to worry about is make sure that you have it on the highest resolution. And that goes for this camera that I'm using here is this Canon 60D, and again, you want to have it as the highest resolution as you can. Granted, it uses a lot of memory, but it takes a lot of memory to see what you're going to see. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start enhancing some of these pictures so it'll give you a better idea of what it'll look like. Keep in mind, remember, this is completely dark, but I just used the flash. So we're going to do the exposure first. I usually crank that all the way up to the top. And then recovery. In general, this is where I shoot for. And then full light right here. So I want to see these come down a kind of angle, and that works pretty good. Then is the blacks, and that darkens it back up again. Now you see, as I darken it up now, You see there's Chucky bubbles up here and here and here, these bigger ones. And then you can start, you're seeing the smaller Chucky bubbles here, here, here. Now I'm going to keep enhancing this a little bit more. The contrast, you can flip it all the way one way or the other. Just find a nice setting that you're going to like. Oh, I guess I could try that. And then clarity, you can try moving that around. And then stabilization. Now if you go this way, usually it turns black and white, and this will bring out a little bit more color. I don't really work around with this. Violence, well, I guess that would be okay. But it depends. So then you got brightness. Where is that? Here. And if you turn it way bright, then you want to turn the blacks up a little higher so that it actually darkens it up. So it gives you a whole variety of different kind of colors to work with. Now, what I was talking about with batching these pictures, I got to set the mic down a second. Okay, you see all these all highlighted here? So now I'll synchronize them, and you'll notice down below they all start to change the same color as the one originally. So that's pretty cool. Anyhow, what's handy about it is now I can click on the next picture, and it's already been changed to where I thought was good for me. Now I'm going to zoom in, and you can see this one, Chucky bubble. You know, usually when they're elongated like this, it's a sign that they're moving in a direction. Otherwise, they're pretty much round. We can look around here a little bit. Well, I'll bring it back out, and I'll go for a Chucky bubble right there. And that's a pretty small one, and then you got all the fuzzy wuzzy around. So here's one up in the tree. Nice round one. It's got a little bit of color to it, but you know, you have to keep in mind I put my own colors in, so just because it's got a little color doesn't mean that it's actually that color. However, you'll find that there's some of these bubbles are the same color. It's like the ones that are usually kind of like brown in color have structure to them. You'll see some of that later. There's a Chucky bubble up here, a bigger one. So that's kind of what it looks like, but if you change the color and the tone and everything, you see them a whole lot differently. Well, we saw this one earlier. Okay, now I'll flip over here to another picture, and all the bubbles will move around a little bit. The bigger ones usually stay in place. Now you might say this is a star. Maybe it could be. I'm not here to say that it's this or that. I'm just here to say that this is how you do it, and you guys can start doing it at universities and schools and start to study this better, because I'm just trying to show you what I've come up with so it'll help you. So I'll move the cursor here. You can't see it. It's over here. Now I'm going to click on a picture here that hasn't been highlighted. Oh dear, what do we got here? That looks like my arm. Okay, let's try something else here. That's still my arm? Maybe that's not my arm. I wonder what that is. I'm not sure. Well, anyhow, I'll scoot down a little farther. You see, it's really hard to shoot at night because you're shooting in the dark. You really don't know what you're shooting at. Okay, there it's gone. Now we can highlight this one. You can see that one there. I'll scoot it down a little bit so we can batch some more. So we try changing the color, the tone again, and there's a gazillion different kind of settings. We can move these all the way over, and then blacks works really good. It really enhances everything. Okay, and then see how those bubbles are starting to show up better than they were earlier. Depends on where you. So now what I've done is I've synchronized all the pictures. So as, what do we got here? 234 pictures. We could flip through all of them, but then I'll take all of them when I get the colors that I want, then I will move them all to another file so I can make movies out of them. I don't think we're going to cover that, but I just wanted to give you a basic idea of, oh, there's me. We don't want that. Let's see. Every second. Oh, there's the side of my head anyhow. So you kind of got to go weed through these before you actually, well, like this situation, you should have already had the bad pictures out, but I'm kind of in a hurry. I want to get this done so it can be put on the market as soon as possible. I'm not, oh, that's the bird bath, and that's the bird house on the tree, and then some more bucky bubbles, and then the fuzzy wuzzy. So if you was zoomed in, let's say real quick here, what I'll do is, I guess, we'll do these Chucky bubbles here, and maybe some of the tree. I'll do a crop on it. So real quick, tools, crop, and I'll crop that, just say for example right there, and then I'm done. Now if I gotta set the mic down a second. Okay, and then I synchronize all those. Then they'll all come out like the same as this one. And not only that, it kind of like zooms it in so you can see better. So now you got a better idea of where the Chucky bubbles there and here. That's the phone, or that's the power wire, and that's how I was able to zoom in on some of those other when I had the inventions out. So it works pretty good.